Hi, my name is Mark Fry, and I am your instructor for this class called the Interpersonal Communications Workshop. And I've been teaching interpersonal communications at Contra Costa College for the last 30 years. And we developed a project there called the Skill Package that I have essentially reorganized a bit to fit into a workshop type setting where students can take it from anywhere without necessarily taking the entire interpersonal communications course. So in this short video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how the workshop works. So I'm using a program called Canvas, which you may or may not have ever used before. It's a learning management system where you're able to actually take an entire online course with everything included in it, with all the information, videos, grading. It builds into everything. And a lot of colleges and universities are using this as their online platform. I have an account, and I've put this course on this Canvas account. So when you log in, and you'll receive an invitation with an email so that you can log in, you will see what looks like this at first. This is the opening of the course. Now, the way the course is organized is this. It's through what are called modules. Modules are kind of like the chapters in a book, really. You just go through them in order, and they'll walk you through from beginning to end. And the way this is set up is this very first module is called the Introduction to the Interpersonal Skills Workshop. And you'll see that each of these are links, right? I have a link here that gives you a few tips about public speaking because this course involves communication. There's the first mini project we do is called the War Story, okay? Now the War Story is a way to get started here where you tell a story about a time when you got into some kind of jam, some kind of difficulty. And then you tell it as a story with an ending that looks like this. You'll say, and so the moral of my story is, bam, and then you tell us what you learned from that experience. It's a great warm-up type speech. And I have inside the modules here some really good examples over the years that I've videotaped of actual students giving their war story speeches. I actually have about 120 of them here. They're all really fascinating to watch. I would recommend you just watch a few so that you get an idea of how they actually have done their war stories, but it gives you some idea of how you would do this particular activity, okay? So going back to the modules, this is our warm-up day that we do to get you started. Then we start with the skill package itself. Now, I'm going to have a separate video right here that you can look at to show you the details of how to do the skill package, right? But in a nutshell, what it is you're going to be looking at a list of skills, and I'll show you that right now. There's a list of approximately 40 skills that all have to do with interpersonal communication. Now, the idea here is to pick one that you actually think, hey, that would be really good for me to get better at. It should like ring a little bell for you, like that's the one I want to work on. And you'll see out of the 40 that you'll find, most likely you're going to find one that kind of leaps out at you after you spend a little time looking over the list. There's some alternative ways to do this. Sometimes people will find, let's say there's two that really kind of work together and you can't really decide between the two. And I've had people many times actually composite the two skills together into one. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. But I think once you look through this list, you will say, wow, that's one that I'd really like to work on. Interestingly enough, number two, over the years, this has been the one that by far most students seem to pick, learning how to meet and get to know people and overcome shyness. Very, very popular skill to list. But when you look at it, you'll find something, I'm sure, that interests you. All right, so I'm going to go over that in more detail with you when you look at the video on how to do the skill package. But essentially, you're going to be doing a series of 8 completely different types of activities that are all designed to help you build that one skill up. That's the idea. 8 different types of activities. All right, so then when we get to the end of the workshop, you'll be giving a final speech. And I actually also have some really good examples here of students giving their final speeches. The speech is a reflection on the skill package, what your experience was. What did you basically get out of doing this project that had 8 different activities built in? And I've got 78 videos here, it looks like, that I've accumulated. Again, I recommend watching, 1 or 2 or 3 or more if you like, just to get an idea of what students have done and how it looks. All right, and then you are, once you've finished that, you've uploaded your final speech, you've come to the end of the workshop. And that is really the idea. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the skill package is part of an entire course that I teach in interpersonal communication. But this is the package that I find students get the most out of. They seem to really rave about this particular project. And I think it's something that you yourself would find to be extremely useful and helpful in whatever you're doing. All right, thanks very much for listening.